Hello, my name is Anderson. This is part 2 of making Wally and Deef, I guess. That's a little behind the scenes, a little behind the scenes video uh, for you on how I made Wally and Eve. Uh, so this is the scene itself from different views. Yes. Uh, but I guess let's concentrate here on perspective, enlarge, and actually switch to perspective. Um, so yeah, this is the scene itself. Well, the background imagery, so let's start. As you can see, there's there's not that whole much on it. This only needed elements for creating this view here. Uh, so let's start with against the background. So basically, when I first had on one of the renders, when I had all the objects here in place in the foreground, I understood that the background itself is kind of empty. So I opted to make some rocks. So zoom. I need to zoom. Nope, just a zoom. Yes, here we go. Uh, this here is just a simple plane uh, with the displace modifier on it, and the displace map itself is a gradient, which is basically just two black two black elements with the position of the second one 0.1, and the third is just white with, well, it doesn't care what color it is, it's just with a map on it. And yes, but the diffuse map is the same here as it's safe as it's saying here, so that would match. Um, and the ground itself is just basically a plane, also with displacement map on it. Uh, so yeah, nothing fancy here. Um, no, let's reset that. Yes, light itself, I use V-Ray, so it's a V-Ray Sun. For cameras, I use V-Ray cameras. The roller coaster was made just by using lines, then converted to the edible polys, and then using selecting the needed uh, faces and connecting them in the right places. So yeah, I love box modeling. All the lots here were just from started as boxes and then had elements added to them and change and not much here. The cloth on the lots is basically those are planes, but let me show you. They have a modifier on it which is called SimCloth 3. It's a plugin that you can easily find online for 3D Max, and it simulates cloth quite nicely. It doesn't work as a reactor in the sense that it's uh, can be used real time. This is a pre-computed. Basically, you set up deflectors and you set up the cloth object itself, and then it just computes how it would fall onto the deflectors and how it would lay on it. So yeah, uh, but and it gives very good results. I find it very useful. I use it quite a lot when I need cloth. Uh, So yeah, they started. The House of Mirrors here started as a box with chamfer on it, and then these were just cylinders. So yeah, um, the the little lights here also started as lines that were turned into editable polys. The little bobs themselves were just modeled one, and then you scatter on the line and clicked use selected polygons which were pre-selected beforehand, and it's scattered the way I need it. Then what I actually did is turned the scatter to an editable poly, so I could select specific elements and delete them, as you can see here, so that there would be gaps, like some lights have fallen down. Um, so yeah, I think that's about it for this, and I think you might be wondering where's Wally and Eve, because as you could see in my previous video, uh, like Wally is in Eve is in the scene, but here's the scene, but no Wally. They're photoshopped on, as you could kind of guess, and basically how I did that, as I mentioned in my previous video, I had quite a good understanding that I would have to uh, separate the background and the scene imagery from the foreground and the characters themselves. So what I did uh, is the following. No, I don't want to save. Let's open the other project file. Sorry, you have to wait a bit because it loads up all the textures Wally uses. He uses quite a lot. So, come on, you can do it. Please open. Open. I believe in you. I believe you can fly. I believe you can touch the sky. Yes, so here it is. As you can see, what I did, I left the ground. I left the lot on the left because just on how shadows were falling, I was afraid that the shadows would touch this building, so I had to Photoshop that also. Now, as a result, it didn't. Um, And I made a plane here so it would be easier to Photoshop. Basically, what you want to do is quite simple. In V-Ray or even Mental Ray, I guess in most of renderers, what you can do is set up render elements. And the one you're specifically interested in is material ID, because in Max, all materials can be given IDs, like this one has 0, for example. This one has 2, as you can see. When you render off this information, it's useful for a lot of cases, but in this case, when you render the image, Max creates a separate image that only holds the material IDs, and the result image is something like this, but despite it doesn't have all the diffuse colors, but for example, this would be the ground plane would be green, or this all would be red, and Wally itself can be blue if all the materials here have the same ID. This allows for easier photoshopping uh, because you can select the object itself, and you can just select in a different layer the material himself, like something green, and then on another layer you actually have selected a very complex object with a lot of edges that couldn't be that easily selected otherwise. I kind of screwed up that part because I wasn't thinking the whole project throughout, so Wally didn't have unique material IDs on everything, and it would be take a hassle to put on every single texture the same ID. So what I did is rendered another image. This one with to get an alpha map. This also works, but I still have another image with a material ID for other things. So Eve actually has been photoshopped using an alpha map, but Wally wasn't so kind to that. Wasn't kind of didn't work out as well with an alpha map. So what I did actually, everyone, all the objects except Wally himself has material IDs. So Wally renders black, but the rename is colorful. So he still has a unique color to him. So I did that. Then in Photoshop, just copy and paste. Use specific things you want. A little blur, and the end result is this. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Uh, and my name has been, will be, and is at the current time of this day and year. Uh, I'm just rambling now, sorry. My name has been Andres. I hope you enjoyed this video and have a nice day.